Welcome to Radical Card. In this video, we are going to solve this question that came from 2024 GCE Math Paper 1. So now, first of all, what you need to understand is that we are dealing with what is called a quadratic function, or rather a quadratic equation. So this is a question, this is a sketch of the graph. And then we also have the questions, two questions. The first one is a coordinate. Find the coordinates of A and of B, and also the minimum turning point. So how do you find the coordinates of A? Okay. So the first thing that you do is you look at A. Okay. So A is just along this x-axis. Okay. And because A is in the x-axis, so what's going to happen is the x-axis has got equation y equals to 0. So from there, what you do now is say you get this equation y equals to x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, so meaning what is y, we put a 0, and this is going to be x squared plus 3x plus 2, or which can just be written as x squared plus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. So once you have something like this, then what you should do is we now solve this one by factorization. So we have to find, first of all, the product, the sum, as well as the factors. Now when you look at the product, we just get the coefficient of x squared, which is 1, times this 2, which is the constant, and we are going to get 2. So there is no any other two numbers that you can multiply together to give us 2, just 1 and 2. So, and then you look at the sum. The sum is actually this b, also known as b, which is just 3. So the factors, they come from the same products. So the two numbers that we can add together to give us 3, just 1 and 2. So now from there, what we do now is we replace now, okay, on the sum there we put 1 and x, and this is just going to be meaning x squared plus the other one is 1, which is just going to be x, plus the other one is just 2. So we have this plus this equals to 0. Okay, and then from there, what you're going to do now, then we group them in brackets. So x squared plus just x in bracket, and then also 2x plus 2 equals 0. And then from there, what you can do now is factorize. So what is common between x squared and x? We're just going to have x, and then when you divide back that, you have x, and then plus 1, x into x, it just goes one time. And then this one, what is common between 2x and 2? Just 2 open bracket, x plus 1 is equal to 0. So from there again, we can now, since what is in the bracket just the same, just pick 1. Okay, then also what is outside the brackets is now x, and then this is positive 2. We have that equals to 0. And then from there now we say this term x plus 1 equals to 0. Then we solve for x, it's just going to be x goes to this side, we just become negative 1, or now the other one, x plus 2 goes to 0. When 2 goes to the right hand side, it's going to become negative 2. Okay, so then we can just now conclude to say, okay, since for a it's going to be two things, the coordinate of a. So when we look at this point, okay, this is away from 0, so our negative 1 could be there, and then our negative 2 could be there. So now the coordinate of a is just going to be negative 2 comma 0. Okay, that's how you can go about that one. Okay, and then now for b, when we look at now b, okay, this is where b is. So looking at b, what you're going to do is this is the y-axis, because this curve passes the y-axis, and that's the point where b is. So in that point, when you have the y-axis, we look at what does it have. Okay, so the y-axis, what is the equation? It is x equals to 0. Okay, and then now we get back this equation, the curve x squared equals, x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, now since we know that x is 0, so we can find y equals to, where there is x, you put 0, okay, plus and plus 2. Okay, so meaning now everything will just become y, this is just 0 plus 0 plus 2, and this is going to be y just equal to 0. So now the coordinate of b could just be, so at this point there is a number 2. Okay, so we can look at this one, so 1 should be somewhere there, and this now the coordinate is 0 comma 2. Okay, so this makes sense. Okay, so now we go now to the second question, which is now minimum turning point. So it is minimum because the graph is now turning at this point somewhere there, and we can see that what we should look at is just this point. Okay, so the minimum turning point. Okay, so now what you need to understand is